I'm sorry. I'm afraid I can't do that. This sort of thing has cropped up before, and it has always been due to human error. Has the mission been completed? You know that I have the greatest enthusiasm for it.
Hey, welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler, and of course things are getting out of hand as they always do when I jump onto a project, but I'm having a lot of fun with this one, so I can't complain. So the first thing I want to show you is put some light behind this console here, and suddenly what you've got is you've got some see-through there. I don't know if this light's kind of blowing through it and you can tell, but essentially painting the silver over that, now I can paint those buttons different colors, and you know, it's such a small scale you won't see a lot of it, but if I can get some light behind it, I think that's going to be a lot of fun and just right. So that's a shimmery silver that's there, and then I'll have to work on neatening up some of that stuff, but I think that's going to provide enough light that's going to go through. I have light blocked this entire lower hall. And so the next steps are to get some paint on some of the interior pieces here. Currently right now under the roof, and you can see here that we've got these roof panels. So my intent at the moment is to start choosing the paint. And I think what I'm going to do on the outer hall, I'm going to use this what's called Summer Linen. It's a Martha Stewart's acrylic paint. And it's white, but it's not necessarily off-white, and it leans more towards a bluish white than a cream white. So I think that's going to be the hull exterior, and you know, the roof and things of that nature. So on to the next paint color. Under this lighting here, and again, it's not going to be lighting, so I need to do this approximate it as closely as I can with some paint colors. So what I intend to do is I'm going to paint with this Deco Art patent leather paint, and it's a high gloss white. And what I'm going to do is do a high gloss on the donut portion. I'm going to do a high gloss on the donut portion, or whatever this oval portion is here. I'm going to do a high gloss there, tape that off, and then paint the rest. And actually, that's a little bit incorrect. What I'm going to do is use this this acrylic titanium white, and I'm going to spray the whole thing, and then tape off this after I've sprayed this titanium white. Tape the rest of this off, and then spray these. So for me, it's always a question of which one is easier to tape, which one is easier to work with, and I'm just going to have to play around with that a little bit to figure out which one I want. I do know that I want these highlighted in that bright ultra white, patent leather white, and I want the rest of the top in the titanium snow. Now, the other color that we want to work with from about this line that way and this line that way is this new color for the interior. And this is essentially just seafoam. And so what I want to do is I'll tape off a line on both of those and spray that seafoam on the inside of that. Those have been sprayed. And now remember, these have tape along this one here, this edge and this edge. Same thing on the back, it's all been taped off, so we should have just a stark white of just the plastic left when we pull that tape, and I don't want to do that yet. I'm trying to leave that protected as long as possible. So that color there I will spray on the interior here and on the interior there, and that'll give me part of that rising wall with the green and then with the white roof. On the inside here, I'm going to do the same thing. This color is going to go on the back of the door, or the back panel of the door, and we'll get the door put together with the paint, and then we'll probably do some detail on this here vent and this vent and this color and figure out the door and get that taken care of. And then I'm going to spray, even though it won't show up much, I'm going to spray, and this is going to be hard to show, possibly this way. I'm going to spray this interior here and this interior here with this green again, or with the seafoam. Same thing up here, just to provide a block for it. And so this has all been light blocked up here. You know, so you got separation of panels, and then we're into the forward hatch section there. On the floor, I have the two side pieces, which correlate. The two side pieces here correlate to, these are the seats where they're going to go. The seats are already painted black, and we've got silver running down the middle. We've got black on the floor, and I'm really kind of thrilled with that. Turned out gorgeous. It's just the right amount of gloss, and for like a black vinyl floor you would find in a spaceship. And so this has been light blocked. Excuse me, not light blocked. This has been protected from being light blocked. So I've taped this off. This is the original styrene under both of those, the original white styrene under both of those. Same thing back here. That's tape over the original styrene, and that's tape over the original styrene. And tape over the original styrene on both of these edges. So what I think will happen once I get lighting under here, that this will light up or glow, around the seats will glow, and around the seats here will glow, and then the same thing here on this side, this ridge will light up and glow at the same time. That's what I'm hoping for and shooting for once this is in. So, you know, the way that you can see, and I'll just put this together real quickly here. These sidewalls again fit in now that we've got them painted up. They fit in over here like so. And then once that's in, this flooring just slides right in and sits right down and goes against that. So you'll see glow, hopefully you'll see glow here along that ridged styrene, and you'll see glow along this ridged styrene going down to the white there. And that's going to take a little bit of doing to figure out where to put my my bulbs next. So that's the next step. And then once we've got that done, we can start, you know, putting all this together and sealing some things up. So a lot of progress today. Kind of thrilled with the way we've gone. I've got my colors pretty well chosen for this. I'm kind of excited to see what that linen will look like under the hull. And hopefully it's not too blue, but I think on all of the exteriors, even though it's a light gray, even though you're seeing it's a light gray, with the colors here and a light gray with this color here, I think what you're going to see is that that's still got a little bit of blue to it. And by the time that that's in and done, I'm going to be kind of thrilled with this. This is silver here, this is a silver piece here, and because of that, I don't have to worry too much about the seams. So when this goes in, like such, that silver piece covers that seam and then comes up to the thrusters and then the seam, and then you've got the front end section there. So good progress today, and we will pick it up the next time with probably some more painting and then some lighting configuration on the inside. Until then, this is a Sloppy Modeler signing off. Thank you. Hey, welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler, and as you can see in front of you, we have a sloppy mess as we've made progress on the Moebius Models Space 2001 Space Odyssey. And I just want to walk through some of the things that we've done here in the last 24 hours or so. First thing is the modifications to the hull in order to accept the lower lighting system that's going to be behind the compartment system in the bus itself. Now, as you can see in here, you've got this brace right here, and that brace is kind of a wishbone looking thing right there, and it's designed to support the side of the walkway itself, and the other where the seats are. And you had 3 of them in there, so there's 1, 2, and 3. I took my trusty saw here and cut down through that section, cut down through that section there, and there, there, and there. And what that allowed me to do now is to actually lay in a lighting system for the lower section. So when this goes in like such and such, like so, when that's finally in, you're going to be able to see that there's going to be some Raytheon lighting. So the way that I put that lighting together is it's really pretty straightforward. I basically just use 4 bands. I'll bring power in from there into the first one. This one goes up. This one would go down into there. Push that back, that goes down into there, and then this one goes into that section. So as you can see, that's quite a bit of lighting in that area that we're going to utilize once it's in and done. Then from there, I kept on going with the wiring run. I'll put 2 bulbs here. This is 5-volt LED tape, by the way. 2 bulbs go into there, and then 2 more bulbs will go onto this side underneath the flooring section here. And then I've got a choice. So right now I have wired in this 3 bulbs of LED strip tape. I'm not sure if that's going to work. I'm not sure if that's going to get the job done. There's just a couple of options I need to work through on that. I'm not sure if I can light this up for you to see how bright that's actually going to be. There's a lot of light in there. Now, limitation is with this, these bulbs are about 1 inch apart, or maybe 3/4 of an inch apart. The big challenge is that you're going to see a lot of hot spots as you go in. So anyway, I think you get the idea of what that looks like. But you are going to see some hot spots against there once all that lighting is in and done. However, I think that is something I can live with in this regard. So that is the lower hull section, and then in through to the instrument panel, side panels, and so forth. So I'm pretty pleased with the way the hull has come together. I'm really pleased with the way this has worked out. I have done most of the painting here. I've got to do some touch-ups with the green inside the door. I've got the grill span. I'm going to do a little white on top of that. But for the most part, we're making a lot of progress, and we should start being able to glue in either with super glue or hot glue, one of the two. Should be able to glue in these strips and the strips on the side, and compact wiring is I'm really actually pretty pleased. We'll have to shorten some of this up, but I'm pleased with the way that came out. So that is the lower hull, and I did paint these seat pedestals in the flat aluminum. I need another coat on there. I'm new doing it with a brush, but and then I'm going to tape off that edge. I'm going to tape off this edge right here so I get a nice straight line on that side. I didn't think that they would run lighting into the pedestals if they were doing it the way I'm doing it here. So if that's what we're dealing with, then I wanted to just block that off. And then when you've got a seat on top of it, that actually is going to look pretty nice from the front, the sides, and so forth. And I need to paint the armrest in there. Probably paint those a nice tan or a yellow leather, something like that. So that's the floor that's done. I do have these are the side windows, and they've been painted and they're still masked off. You've seen these before; those have been masked off. The other thing that I did do was glue up the instrument panel, and once that's glued up, just painted it with some different colors, and I think that light shines through pretty nice all the way from top to bottom. So if I can get some light behind there, I think that's going to make a nice look. I'm kind of happy with that. I haven't done a lot of instrument panels, and that's just painting with clear blues and oranges and yellows and reds and a little bit of green for the actual panels. The next thing we come to is the roof panel, and again, this is kind of a mock-up, almost there from what I was talking about. So I did get this painted in here with the bright white and then the gloss white on the panels to make that look different. Painted the sides here with the green that's going to match the side walls, and the windows that go in here, the back of that is green, and so forth. And then what I did, this is the front of the cockpit here, and what I did was able to I just took two red LEDs, and I've got the first coat of white paint on the wire, and I'll paint this green from here up and green from here up. And I just have those hooked over for right now, but what will really happen is we'll pull that out and run that down this sidewall right here. So where that comes forward, just run it right down the sidewall and right down behind, and that'll hide that particular wire. There's just no way to get around hiding this wire other than to paint it the color of the hull itself. But I am kind of thrilled with the way that this turned out from a lighting perspective, understanding that the inside of the cockpit, they're using night vision red for the most part, and that's what you're going to see is that night vision red. And when that's down, it really provides a nice glow. I'm not sure if you can see that there. Yeah, you can. It's really going to provide a nice glow inside there against the black and against the green with the red. So we are making progress. Like I said, the lighting is pretty well cooked. The only thing that is still kind of up in the air is whether or not to use a tiny SMD behind this tiny SMD behind the cockpits. And I've got, I could do 3 or 4 of these, and they are fairly bright. So if I've got the cockpit with that brightness there, suddenly, you can see that would light up. And let's make sure we get that into the frame here. We would make sure that lights up, and that would really look nice without providing so much light that might spill out underneath here and conflict with the red. I think it's going to be okay, so I just have to determine if I'm going to use this 3 light strip right here, or if I'm going to use like 3 or 4 of these simple little SMDs and kind of stow those away. I think what I can do is actually, once those are, everything is dry, I can fold that. These wires are teeny tiny and my big meat paws are huge. But I can glue that just like that and provide a lot of light there. If I need one there and then one on each side here and one here, I think that might provide enough light without overpowering that, and then run the wires back around. So we've got some options of how that's going to come together with the lighting kit. That is all I'm going to light. I think there is, according to the instructions, and I'm going to pull this lighting out here now that we've seen that in place. According to the instructions on here, there is an exterior light. Let's see if we can get this put in place. And again, I'm not thrilled with the way that this cockpit fits. Maybe when everything's put together, it'll have a little more solid foundation to go against. But so according to the instructions, there we go. That's one side and that's the other. According to the instructions, there's supposed to be a light that goes right there and a light that goes right there. It's a part. And if I get the instructions here, I'll show you what we're talking about. Side lights, part number 42. And boy, I'll tell you, that is a real challenge to figure out how to do that. So what I might do, if I decide to go this route, I might just leave it as is. But what I might do is put the part in and then use an LED light that's kind of like the stove hat. And I'm not sure what the actual technical name is. But what I might do in that part is just drill it just large enough for that little piece to stick through. And it would take 4 of them. And by sticking it through there, there's plenty of room. And if I just put 1, 2, I think there's 2 on each side. No, there's 4 on each side. So that would make 8 additional LEDs. And that just might be enough to do 2 there and not have to worry about doing 4. So I'm just going to have to play around with that over the next couple of weeks or next couple of days and see what we come up with. But that is in store for another video as we come to it. I did get the separators painted up, and they only go in one way. I will give Moebius credit, as I always do. Their fit is absolutely fantastic. So, and everything tends to interlock with each other. So when this base is in, this interlocks into the side walls and gives a nice little separator piece between the front cabin and the back passenger cabin. So those have been painted up and ready to install. So I think probably by the time we get to the next film update, what you're going to see is I'm going to finalize lighting if I'm going to do it on the sides there, and finalize my hole in here and start getting a block put in there to support the weight of this. Although this is going to be a light model, even with the lighting in it, that's going to be a real lightweight model. And then once the lighting's done, I did get the landing gear painted, so that is painted according to the photo. And of course, on the bottom of that, you would have you know, these different sections that fit in like so, and glue in, and then you know, you've got your landing gear, and there's 3 of those that go on per section. So the landing gear has been painted up, just needs to be glued in. It's not glued at the moment, but once that's in, again, the fit is really nice, just the way that they did this fit here. You know, how that slides in is recessed versus just a single pin. That makes for nice modeling. I give Moebius a lot of credit for that. Engine bells are glued and painted, and they turned out really nice. I'm actually kind of nice. They already look a little bit weathered just as they sit, like they've been fired a few times. So we've got the 6 of those ready to go. We've got the electric motor that sits inside in the cabin ready to go, and then we'll work on paint on the cargo bays as we move ahead. So nice progress, and I wanted to get a video of all of this before we went too long in the tooth and got way too far ahead. But we've got some detail painting done. We've got a lot of the wiring and the lights are pretty well set up. And so once we can progress past the wiring, we can then start to set all the wiring in with either hot glue or real low temp hot glue. And then some other, once the wiring's in, get it glued down, and then we can start closing it up. And once it's closed up, then what I'll do is tape this off, because this is simple enough. This is simple enough in the instructions that I think I can tape off this window and this here front section, because I've already, and then we are good to go. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.